G'day everyone, we're bloody on the Simpson Desert shakedown trip this afternoon. Leaving a little later than I'd hoped. It's going to be dark when I get to my campsite, but that's alright, that's what adventure's all about, isn't it? Sometimes stuff doesn't go to plan. Basically, first trip with all my gear, full fuel load, all my tools, pretty much as it's going to sit for the desert crossing, or well, for at least most of the trip. Yeah, so I've got a 7.5 litre roto packs on the back. I've got a full 20 litres up front here, and I've got a fuel bladder as well, but I haven't filled that up. I thought there was not much point filling that up for just a little trip. So yeah, just a bit of a rundown with all my camping gear. I've got some new equipment which I'll go through. Oh well, maybe I'll have to go over it when I on the ride down there with yous, but if I get a chance to do it when I stop, if it's still light enough, I will. Got a couple of weeks before I go away, heading off end of April, so it's Easter time now, so what's that, gives me about three weeks or so, 3 or 4 weeks before I leave. So yeah, just basically I've got to get some kilometres on the bike so I can get to my first valve check before I go. Jeez, that sun is in a bad spot. Oh, there's no one coming. Oh, sketchy as. Yeah, so a couple of weeks before I go, I've got to get to the first service, which is 3,000 kilometres, or first valve check I should say. It's had two oil changes already. Jesus Christ, I cannot see fucking anything. Oh, no one's coming. Should have brought my sunnies. Anyway, yeah, so first time testing out the tank panniers here. First time with the roto packs full. I haven't used that before. Everything else I've kind of used a handful of times. But yeah, so we're heading down to Jingellic, just the other side of Jingellic, heading down to Wagga actually. And I've got an hour of sunlight, and it's about an hour and 40 minutes or something there. So yeah, it'd be good if these people did the speed limit. Oh, he's going to turn. Nice. So yeah, a bit of a rundown on the bike, I suppose. So yeah, obviously 2018 Honda CRF450L. I bought this bike back in September last year, September 2022. And yeah, I bought it with 600 kilometers on it. I've got 2,800 Ks on it now, just trying to get to that 3,000 before I go away. And yeah, it's undergone some pretty significant changes since I bought it. I bought it as a completely stock bike. You know, nothing out of the ordinary. Started standard tyres on it. The only thing it did have, it had a USA spec ECU in it. But it didn't have the USA intake. So it ran like shit when I got it. It would obviously, yeah, it was giving it all the fuel and had this tiny little bloody ECU thing, or intake hole, I guess. So yeah, jumped online, ordered a new intake for it, ordered a new air filter lid, and yeah, then rode it. So what I did when I first got it, obviously had the Australian spec ECU in it, which is like the 25 horsepower job, and yeah, so I actually put the Australian ECU back in it, and oh shit, I cannot see. Yeah, put the Australian spec ECU in it and then just rode it for a bit, completely standard. And obviously after a couple of trips, I actually took it just through Wagga State Forest, did a bit of like trail riding, so rode from Wagga all the way to Wagga and had a putt around there for the day and came back home. So a bit of road riding, bit of off-road fire trails, and that had the standard tyres, and I was pretty happy with it. Obviously, you know, the tyres were shit. That was the biggest takeaway from that trip, and I thought, oh gee, like just nearly unrideable. Like you wouldn't keep the stock tyres on this. I mean, they're absolutely rubbish. And then yeah, went and ordered the US intake pipe, swapped the ECUs over, and just was like, wow, what a difference. You know, just in the power wise, didn't have to downshift going up hills or anything like that. Was just able to roll on and continue away. And then yeah, I rode it like that for a bit. Went down to Bright and did some trails, some more harder fire trails. That's, you know, a bit of single track, I suppose. Like really small amount, but most of it was sort of like, yeah, just fire service roads and stuff. But we went down to Bright and it was just pissing down rain the whole time, and I had the D606s on here and I had the standard ECU, and holy shit, like I struggled big time with that ECU, just getting it to perform without fucking crashing constantly. $71 Ks, Stolbrook. So we went down to Bright after I put the ECU in it, the USA ECU and the USA intake pipe and whatnot, and you know, that was good. It felt a lot better, but obviously the jerkiness of the throttle, that on-off connection with the rear wheel, that was really hard to manage, and the flame out, the stalls, you know, like basically I was on that trip and I was absolutely wrecked, and I remember riding down this road just thinking, I don't care what it takes, but I need to fix this bike. You know, like it just was crap off-road. On-road was fine, and if you're just cruising on the highway, or if you're motarding or something like that, man, the stock stuff would be easy as, it'd be awesome. So, got home from Bright, ordered a Athena Get ECU after doing a fair bit of research, and it came a couple of weeks later, and mate, awesome bit of kit. I was a bit nervous about spending that much money on an ECU, but by far the best thing I could have bought for this bike. So I got the map switch, I got the traction control, I got the Wi-Fi module. I thought, fuck it, if I'm going to spend the money I might as well get everything. So some specs on the bike that I've done since I've owned it to get ready for the Simpson Desert. First thing, it's a big tank, big 20 litre tank. Awesome bloody bit of kit. It's a big behemoth though, like, and it's heavy. Well, the bike's heavy. If you drop it with a full tank of fuel, you definitely feel the weight, and you feel it off-road, like you definitely feel it. So that was the first thing. The second thing was the seat. You can't see it because I'm sitting on it. But seat concepts, comfort low. I'm only a short ass, so I needed the low seat just for a bit of extra, get my foot down if I have to. And yeah, awesome difference. I actually did a lot of kilometers. I did 3,000 Ks nearly, well, sorry, I did 2,200 Ks with the stock seat. And yeah, look, this is actually the first trip, like long road trip, that I'll have with the with this new seat. So I'm enjoying it so far. I've done a bit of riding on it, a couple 100Ks, but that's about it. Skag's rear rack with the Rotopax mount. So yeah, that's been good. It was pretty easy to fit up. I wanted to be able to get the back seat off without having to unload everything off the rack, or I didn't like the idea of the rack sharing the same bolts as the seat. So I went with the Skag's rear rack from the US. Pretty painless process. Bark busters, I've only got one on because I broke the other one when I was in Bright. So I've got to refit that, but I just haven't had time, so I'll do that. What else have I done? I've put a 5.6 kilo spring in the rear shock just to help with a bit of extra weight. I'm 73 kilos plus gear. You know, obviously I'm loaded up a little bit now, so, you know, loaded up, I just needed that little bit of extra springage, that little bit of extra support, I suppose, in the shock. And to be fair, like, when I put that on there, man, it feels awesome. Like, honestly, the bike rode's so much better just with that stiffer shock. I don't know if it's, I'm a bit of a dirt bike noob, I don't know, like, really how dirt bike suspension's meant to work. So I rely a lot on, like, the other stuff. I come from a road bike background, so, you know, I understand how suspension works, but I don't know what's ideal for the dirt, I should say. But yeah, so the stiffer spring definitely made it feel better on the road. I haven't really tried it off-road yet. And a new chain and sprockets. So I went one up on the front, so 14 tooth, and I stuck with a 51 tooth, and I've got a DID ERVT chain, 520 chain on there. And other than that, everything else is basically stock. Oh, nearly forgot. I have a Zeta adjustable lowering link in there. So I've got it adjusted to number 7, which is 30 millimeters. Yeah, I'm 5 foot. I don't know how many 5 foots I am, but I'm 169 centimeters. And I just found that having a lowering link in there made the bike a lot more manageable, because it is a big bike. Definitely a big bike. And, you know, off-road, like, I've always said, you don't ride a bike with your feet on the ground, so it doesn't matter. Everyone goes on about having a flat foot, or if you can't flat foot it, you can't ride it. I think that's bullshit. I think you can ride anything. Just depends where you want to ride it and what type of riding you do as to how much control and your skill level, obviously. You know, like on a road bike, why the hell do you need a flat foot back? You know, sorry, if you're on like doing track work, there's absolutely zero reason you would ever need to have 2 feet flat on the ground for that. You know, even a road bike, I would argue you don't need to have flat feet. I've never been able to flat foot any bike I've ever owned, so I guess that's just me. But being able to flat foot a dirt bike is super handy when you're off road though. That I have found out the hard way. But anyway, everything's nice and green. We've just had a stack of rain. The sun has only just come out today, and I picked my window and thought, right, I'm in the bike. Let's bloody go. Let's get out of here. So yeah, half an hour from Holbrook, and then maybe an hour from Holbrook to where I'm camping. So I'll be getting there in the dark, I'd say. Never been to this campsite before, so I have no idea what to expect. So I guess I'll tell you a bit about my trip that's coming up and the purpose of it all. So what, basically, you know, back in August, I think it was, or maybe it was even before then, June, one of my mates, he's always been to his adventure riding, and he sort of comes and says, oh, you know, one of my mates is doing the Simpson Desert on a bike, and, you know, that'd be a sick trip. And I was like, oh shit, if I get a bike, can I come? And he's like, yeah, fucking oath. So that started basically the whole process of you know, preparing for the trip, getting a bike, doing these practice runs. So we're going from Wagga, Mildura, Port Augusta, where are we going then? Coffin Bay. We'll go into Coffin Bay and camp in the bloody national park there somewhere, which would be pretty sweet. Then we'll go from Coffin Bay, we'll go all the way along the coast back up to Seduna, and I think we're going to do some, we might have to do some bike maintenance there, or either there at Coffin Bay / Port Lincoln or some point, have to change the oil. Then we're going from Seduna, we're going to go out to Lake Mac something, I can't remember what it's called, but it's blue and pink apparently, so that'll be pretty sweet. It's about 90 k's out of Seduna. So that's kind of like stage one, where we're basically on the bloody we're on the tarmac the whole way basically. So we're going from Seduna, we'll go from there all the way up Googs track to Tarcoola Road, turn right, and then pending permits, I'm still waiting to hear back from the Defence Force and from the APY about permits. About to go in there. We'll either go down to Woomera, if I can't get the permits, we'll go to Woomera, check out the museum, cruise up the Stewart Highway to Coober Pedy. If we can get the permits, we'll be going back to Tarcoola, get food at, get fuel and food and stuff at Kingunya, and then go back along Tarcoola Road, go north through the prohibited area to Coober Pedy that way. So we'll see what happens there. Yeah, so then from Coober Pedy we'll spend a day there, have a bit of a look around, again bit of bike maintenance, go see some mining shit, I guess. Don't really know what's there. Who knows, we might get the shits and be like, fuck it, we're leaving. Then we'll go all the way across to William Creek. William Creek, we'll go out to Mount Lake Eyre. We'll go stay at the campsite out on Lake Eyre, which would be pretty cool. I don't think it's going to be full, but it should still be pretty interesting. Yeah, so we'll go to Lake Eyre, then we'll come back along the Oodendata track, we'll go all the way up to Mount Dare, and that'll be our last fuel stop before we cross the Simo. So, should be about 6,000 k's all up. I'm looking forward to it, man, I'm so keen. I'm so keen, it's all I can think about, literally. I'll be at work, and all I can think about is just riding my bike. Super, 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 super excited. So, I guess the question is, why the CRF450L? Why not buy the DR650? Why not buy an XR650L or a 650R? Why not buy a 300L? Why not buy a WR250R? Been tried and proven time and time again, or the, you know, ever reliable DRZ 400. You know, like, these are a stack of bikes that are available. And the answer is, I like this one. No, I can't say that. I mean, I do. I genuinely do like this. I've always had Hondas my entire life. This is my how many Hondas have I had now? This is my 5th Honda, 6th Honda, maybe. Could even be more than that. When I heard about this bike, when I first started looking at bikes, the obvious choice was going to be, you know, a WR250R. You know, heaps of guys use them. Riding with Tom, he's got a WR250R. I love his videos, and, you know, definitely inspired me to do a lot more different adventuring stuff, and you know, my gear setup's very similar to his, just the way he has his lightweight pack. Why not a DRZ? Genuinely, when I bought my bike, bikes were hard to get because it was in COVID, everything was super expensive. You know, the reason, you know, it was priced for the DRZ, really. They were just all too expensive for a 20-year-old bike, you know, but I'll get into that. I genuinely tried to get a CRF450L. Went into the dealership and said, I want one, and they said you can't have one. Look at that view, man, it's so cool. Yeah, I went to the dealership and they were like, oh, you can't get one until May 23, and I was like, well, I'm going away in May, so it doesn't really help. So yeah, came across the 450L, and it's kind of like the obvious choice, you know, like the DR was heavy. I wanted something that was lightweight. I wanted something that was going to be reliable. I wanted, you know, like the whole ethos was to have as lightweight, to be as lightweight as possible. The DRs are just heavy, man. They're fucking heavy. But they're reliable, you know, they're proven. You can carry heaps of shit with them. My mate's got a DR, he's coming on the trip. You know, it's a sick bike. The DRZ, hard pill to swallow, spending like, you know, 12 grand on a bike that has been unchanged for 20 years. But you know, there's a reason. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And there's certainly nothing wrong with the DRZ. But yeah, like conventional forks, you know, like I had a spreadsheet that I did all my cost shit on, and it was like, even the WR, you buy a WR, you buy a DRZ, you know, you got to do work to the suspension. You know, the WR maybe just springs, you know, and you know, a lot of guys with the DRZ, it's a bit of revalving work, but it's not adjustable. You know, like what you get's what you get. This has got fully adjustable suspension. You know, like you can really dial it in. Do I know what I'm doing to dial it in? No, not yet. But the option's there, you know, and I have played with this a little bit. I've made the front end a little bit softer on the compression just to make it a bit better off-road, because they are very stiff from factory. But you know, having the option to play with it is definitely there. And when you're looking at value for money, you know, these are the things that sort of pop up. You know, do we get a little bit carried away sometimes? Yeah, of course, but you know, who doesn't? Yeah, the WR250R, why didn't I buy one of those? Well, it was actually really hard to find one. I've since found like a couple like brand new ones, basically brand new. And if they were there 6 months ago, I probably would have bought them instead, you know, but here we are. Don't regret my decision getting this bike at all. It has turned out to be more expensive than I first thought, but you know, that's part of it. Yeah, the 250, I just thought, damn, you know, like a 250 on such a big trip, you know, like you just don't have the power, you know, and like same weight as this. I think it's basically the same weight. I mean, they're both 130 kilos. Oh, like fully wet with like full fuel and stuff. Yeah, I was just like, man, do I really want to ride a 250 all the time? The answer is probably no. Should have I bought the 250? Like, yeah, it would have been. Look, I don't know. Time will tell if this survives the trip. You know, the 250 definitely has a better service interval. It's definitely proven. I mean, this is proven as well. But you know, having to change your oil all the time can be a bit annoying. It's not the end of the world though. Probably should be changing the oil anyway. Yeah, 250 is a good bike. I've never ridden one. They're really tall, like super tall seat height, and but you know, this was tall as well, so I can't really say that. The 300, yeah, obviously couldn't get one unless I paid a stupid price for a second-hand one, and even second-hand ones are hard to find. No one was selling them. XR650R, that's what I originally wanted. I've always wanted one of those bikes. I reckon they're sick. But yeah, kickstart only, not a problem. I've nothing against kickstart, but I'm a short ass, and kickstarting on the side of a hill or a sand dune, you know, just doesn't sound like a fun time to me. Pretty lightweight, similar weight to this, bit more power, a bit more torque. You know, they got people snapping subframes. That's an issue. Probably an issue on this as well, to be fair. Again, finding one that isn't fucked, pretty hard. You know, like finding one in really good condition. It's been looked after. Like they're an old bike, you know, like they're 20 years old. You know, at least the DRZ you can buy a brand new one. If you want a 20-year-old bike, fuck it, just go buy a new one. You know, it's the exact same. And the 650L, well again, basically none for sale, and I saw one for sale the other day for 14 grand, and I'm like, there is no way on earth anyone is paying 14 grand for a 650L. Not a chance. So yeah, it leaves us with this, the old 450L. I think it's a nice bike, and I'm happy with it. So I think it'll do the trip. Should hold up. I'm going to change the oil probably every 1500 k's, you know, give or take. Be able to buy oil along the way or carry some with you. You know, it's not too difficult to change the oil. It takes about 10 minutes, if that. So yeah, it's not as if like, you know, people talk it up. Oh, you got to change the oil. You got to change this. You know, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal to change the oil. You just bloody just change it, man. It takes easy job. But is it going to be annoying when I'm the only one that has to do it and everyone else is there with a beer in hand and I'm covered in fucking hot oil? Well, probably, but you know, it's just the life. The life you chose to live, I suppose. It is what it is. Oh, it's starting to get a bit chilly. Not gonna lie, it's starting to get a little bit chilly. And guess what? It's gonna be even colder in the next hour. And I can't have a fire because I don't have any firewood. And I don't even have a lighter to light a fire because that's something that I forgot to get. But yeah, it's going to get dark and I don't want to hit a kangaroo, so try and smack out some K's now before it gets too dark. If I can get to Holbrook, I'll be cheering before dark. But it might be one of those situations where I get to camp, I set up, and I go straight to sleep.